Happy Saturday. Welcome back. How's it going, y'all? How's everyone's weekend so far? I slept in. It was glorious. Now we got a Saturday to work through. I did some research on marshalling memory, so I think I've got some idea of how we're going to do this. Getting this data back and forth here. So let's see what we can do. I have an idea. I don't know if it's like borne out by the documentation, but I kind of want to try it. I don't think it'll work actually now that I'm thinking about it, but we'll see. We'll figure this out. We're going to get our tile map data over back into Godot. That's what we're going to be doing. I'm going to let this song finish out. Hey, Ryson. How's it going? Happy Saturday. All right, let's game dev. Screen share. Open up our projects here. Parse error to be expected. Going good? That is good to hear. How long do you think until you hear about your pull request? I'm curious about that process. You're like way ahead of me. You're just waiting on the PR to be approved. Might be a while. You believe it's in a queue with a whole bunch of other PRs for 4.4. Yeah, I bet there's a ton of PRs for 4.4. It's kind of wild. They have like hundreds of contributions each version. Like over 1,000 sometimes, is my understanding. That's wild. You'll probably write up an issue for some other bug or feature you want to add and start. You are on a tear. You're like a Godot contributor now. That's cool. That is cool, is what that is. So we've got our tile system working, allegedly. We haven't been able to test it. But what we need to do is we need to pass the data back in a way that the Godot system can intake it. And I think the way we're going to do that is by encoding it all into one byte array and then sending along like a parallel thing, attaching some parallel thing, which is like a node reference. Maybe we put the node reference in the byte array. I don't know. What we need to do is we need to figure out how we're going to make sure it gets to the correct object. That's interesting as a challenge. We could use its, like, it has an ID associated with it, but these IDs aren't consistent across separate runtimes. So we need a process of reconnecting whenever we started or stopped. So I have to think about how I want to do that. Right now we can kind of cheat because we know exactly where we want to put the data. We can just put a path in. But eventually we need a separate system for identifying where the data should end up. You're feeling pretty psyched about it? That's awesome. You have the first feature in mind to take on? You just need to fix a bug first? Cool. Yeah, that's really great. So what we're going to do... So back here, when we're done, what we're going to do here is we're just going to... So we can process the view changes. We should, before we process the view changes, we should probably update the tile information. So first we can do that. So we'll say something like, let's go to our output script. Yeah, okay, so we have a queue of byte arrays. Doesn't need to be a queue, honestly, but this is fine. So we'd say while output dot tiles dot count is greater than 0, we're going to say byte tiles equals output dot tiles dot dq, and we're going to say something like board dot get node we're going to get, it's like a node 2D. Or do we not need to prescribe the type? Okay, so we can say get node. We need a node path. Our node path is something like, oh, this isn't working because I haven't added the global back. Ryson, so since you are planning on doing all the map construction on the C# side, why do you need to move it to the GDScript side? You should be able to just send it to the tile map in Game Engine directly. Yes, that's what I mean by sending it to that side. Sorry if that wasn't clear. I should have said I'm sending it to the scene tree, is what I should have said. We're going to do all of that stuff through our game singleton because it's the only class we have that exists in both worlds, really. And that's going to probably get overweight eventually, but for right now, I don't care. So we need to get this node. I guess we could actually get the node in ready and just hold on to it for now. We would say, so we have the board. So we need to get the block volume and then iterate through the children in the block volume and then iterate through the children in each area. So how do I do that normally? Let's open up the Hall stack. I would like to specify, so what happens if I specify a node as being internal? Will it not show up when I call get children? That's my understanding, right? But how will that affect the indexes? I feel like there might be a disconnect the way one of us is conceptualizing something. There we go, that makes more sense. Yeah, scene tree is what I mean. I don't need to send it to a GD script. So include internal is false. So I kind of want to specify, I mean, I really should just separate the line layers out into their own thing. Like this, like grid lines and line layers. I should really separate that out, but I kind of want to try to do it this way. So how do I specify that this is internal? Probably can only do that in code, maybe. Add child. Yeah, so I can only do that when I'm adding a child. It's unfortunate. Or maybe internal mode. Maybe I can do that in the script. Internal mode back. That's what I want. Where do I get that? Ryson, you think internal could have something to do with duplicating as well? If a resource is internal, it is duplicated without the need to do a deep copy, maybe? You might be thinking of something else. Yeah, you might be thinking of something else. The way I've always used internal is just as a way of hiding something from queries. Like if I want to manipulate something, like I want to get all the children, but I don't want to get, certain children that don't need to be processed. Like we have a tile map that's the guidelines, and we don't ever need to update the guidelines, so I just want to make them internal so that we never try to replace them. So I just need to set their internal mode. Not 100% sure how to do that, but we can try. So we're going to say public node 2D block. So block is going to be, block is not the right word for this. Volume would probably be better. Block volume. I'm going to say block volume. It's not how I want to do this exactly. I'm going to say node 2D board dot get node block volume, like that. And then we can say something like for each, yeah, for each node 2D. I guess I don't actually care that it's node 2D. We can just say node. Get node just returns a node, right? Yeah, we're not using any of the 2D functions at the moment. So we're going to just use node. Get rid of these casts. So for each node in board.getChildren, this gets us all the board area, the block areas. So we're going to say for each area, say block area. We're going to say block area dot get child line layer. Oh, I need to get that. I need to give it an int. What? Just do get child -1 for now. I want to set its internal. Set process internal. No, that's not what I want. So how do I get access to this internal enum? This internal mode. This is where it redirects to. If I want to set this. Maybe I just need to add. Maybe what I do is I just add it. That's fine. Internal. I mean, unless I can just go internal mode and just set it, which it doesn't seem like I can do. Yeah. Okay. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to say block area. We're going to say I need an export. What's the export attribute? It's this, just this. Export public node, or actually it's a tile map layer. Tile map layer, line layer. Why are you upset with me? The exported member line layer is read only. Oh, whatever. Set. Rebuild. Oh, we can't. We need to add the input handler global back. Failed. Oh, have I just left all of this hanging? I have. Rebuild. And so we go to the game. We set the line layer. Oh, this shouldn't be a tile map layer. This should be like a packed scene or whatever, right? Yeah. We'll do this for now. I will probably spin that off. So we're gonna say block area dot add child line layer false. What does readable name mean? Internal mode is going to be internal mode dot back. Why are you unhappy with this? Oh, do I not know how to do this? I haven't done some of this stuff in so long. Grimgar, hey, you came in yesterday right as I was wrapping up. You converting your GD script to C sharp? Any reason if that's the case? We're doing something worse and more complicated. We're basically writing a simulation layer for the game in C sharp that is just handling the game data and the simulation stuff. And we're passing things back to the scene tree that needs to be rendered or that affect the UI. So we've just split the game simulation out because we're doing kind of a simulation heavy game. And I kind of didn't want to back every simulation element with like nodes and stuff. I kind of just wanted to be able to do something lightweight. And so we have an entity component system, a very bare bones entity component system we're using. So how do I get the node out of the packed scene again? Do I say something like packed scene dot load preload or something? Node line layer equals line layer dot something like preload. I like kind of know how to do this in GD script, but for some reason in the C sharp equivalent, I'm like struggling. Hey, smooth in a second. Laughing at me. Oh Lord, that's Grimcar's response to what we're doing. That's appropriate. Um, should I just record this packed scenes path? Just do this. Should it be this? Instead of exporting it, just say public node line layer. And then here I can say line layer is preload. Time to look up the API differences. Hey, Dime Novel Hero. Happy Saturday. Welcome, man. So I want to preload. Oh, there is no equivalent. So I just say gd.load. Okay. Or resource loader.load. This is temporary. This is a temporary thing we're doing here. gd.load. Okay, are you unhappy? Cannot convert resource to target node. Okay. What? Will resource loader give me better behavior? I want to like figure out how to do this, but I'm tempted to just separate this out. Forget it. We don't need to do it this way. Just gonna make a node 2D. Call it line layer. Save this branch as a scene. Open this scene up. Just add a bunch of these. Then position them correctly. So 0 is 96. One is going to be 64. Grimgar, you'll be honest, you didn't know what FTL was. You played it for a few hours now. It's pretty cool. You mostly play RPGs. That's probably why you missed it. Yeah, probably. But yeah, FTL is great. Appreciate you checking it out. 32. Okay, so you're actually 0, 0. -32. How are you doing? How are you doing, Grimgar? How's your Saturday? I appreciate you coming back after kind of missing the. Oh, this is the wrong scene. This is what I want to look at. After kind of coming in right at the end last time. 0 -64. Is this right? This feels wrong. But maybe it's not. No, I guess it's right. So what we can do is we can remove this layer from here. So we're just splitting out this line layer, which never needs to update. But what we do need to do is give it a script. Because it needs to do one simple thing. And so does the line layers. You also need a script. It needs to do this basic calculation stuff. Is that in the process function? God, I keep tabbing over to try to get it. No, it's its own function. Okay, that's good. It uses a ready function. We can probably just copy over all of this, huh? From the block line to the line layers. I should call that something different, like line layer container or something. Not too bad. Finished work. Seen you were up again. Yeah. We do Tuesday. We do Tuesday through Saturday. That's what we do. Okay, then the line layer script can be modulate area line layers. You modulate all of them. So you don't have scripts attached, do you? You do not. Okay. So I actually don't need the line layers script at all. I can get rid of this. Detach, or the line layer script. Delete. Save. And so all we really need to do is maybe change the input handler, or maybe the block or the game. So the game board. So you're going to say output views.dq switch shift view board.call pan viewer up or down direction. Okay, so this is the responsibility of the board. Game board. It's gonna say, so you just say block volume.pan viewer up or down. So we do that. We also say if game dot state as string is edit. So if, then we're also going to say can't drop nodes because script board.gd doesn't inherit. What? Hold on. Is that just because I have an error right now? It's not letting me do that. What we could do is we could pass this to the block editor and let the block editor sort it out, but we'll do it like this for right now. I say this, and then we're just going to say the same thing. We're going to say line layers dot pan viewer up or down. It's the simplest way to do it right now. Let's see if that works. Grimgar, you have hundreds of hours in Slay the Spire, similar enough to FTL, but you like how FTL doesn't use cards. Just other RNG bullshit. Yeah, that's true. So this kind of works. It's at an offset that is perplexing, but other than that, it still works, the up and down thing. Let's figure out why the offset is wrong. Is it because you're based here? Wait, what? What's your transform? 0, 0? Okay. If that's the case, if this is the case, why is it weird like this? Why are these all... Why are none of these rendering correctly? Position, -16, -60. Negative, oh, you're all negative. Oh, did I not set this up correctly? It's unfortunate. So that's the area, that's the position for these, for the holder. And then in here, we need a different set of positions. So -1660 is for... There is an FTL-like card game that came out, though. It doesn't seem beloved, but it came out, called Breachway. It's like a mix of FTL and Slay the Spire. Okay, so this is correct for one of them. I don't know which one. Okay, so this layering is all wrong. That's important. So let's figure out the layering here, and then we can probably translate it back. So you're at 0, so you need to be -8? No, -16. Then you probably need to be up by some amount, but let's worry about that in a second. Let's just get everyone to the right X position first. It's because I changed the way I wanted to do this. Instead of having, originally I had the 0 be in the center, but now I want to be able to support a number of things. So I'm having 0 be the upper corner instead of being the center. So I need to, I thought I corrected for this, but I guess I didn't. Ryson, you just lost a run of Slay the Spire when we mentioned it. Oh, you went with the 0 cost build with the defect. You got put up against the Timekeeper. Scott Hopkins, cool stream. How far along are you in the game, you think? Hey, Scott. Sorry for yelling out your full name. I just do it instinctively because I'm used to Twitch usernames, but I realize on YouTube people put their whole name on there. I'll only mention that if Scott McDonald is also here to distinguish you two. But yeah, Thanks for saying it's a cool stream. I think it's kind of boring, but we're working towards something cool. We're working towards like an isometric 3D FTL like. We're still really preoccupied with the tools. That's what we're working on. We're working on adapting an auto tiler that I've already written to work with a simulation layer we've built up. Um, I can kind of show you the default version or the previous version of it, I think, assuming I didn't break everything. But yeah, we're like 1 year into what's probably like a 6 year project. Breachway looks cool. Yeah, it looks cool. What the feedback I'm getting is that it's got some issues, but so yeah, so we can build these 3D things. We've got this big auto tiler, which isometric auto tiling is not easy. Is what I'll say about that. So we can lay out these shapes. And we've got a flood fill algorithm that can tell whether a space is enclosed or not, so we can do like the FTL, like explosive decompression stuff. So what we've done is we've kind of created an entity component system for all the game data and the game simulation, and we're kind of just trying to move this system over to take data from that. Here we're like basically painting directly on the tile map, which is fine for right now, but we're working on a replacement system for it. But I need these tools because I cannot do this by hand. I cannot lay this stuff out by hand. I tried for a minute and it was driving me insane. I was like, I'll spend some months on the tools just so I can make as many of these ships as I can and be able to craft them like this by just dragging out shapes. We have some new we have some angled shapes and stuff we want to integrate, but we need to do some stuff before we can get that in there. But yeah, so the goal is it's going to be kind of like the 3D chess version of like FTL. If FTL is, traditional 2D chess. So there's going to be 3D positioning. And yeah, this is a long project. I know it says we're on episode 126 or whatever, but like it's kind of shocking how long it takes to do things. Super impressive. It's like the entire program block bench for ISO shipbuilding. That is really sweet to hear. It's not quite that good. I've been tempted to actually add a feature for like painting textures in the engine, but haven't done that and hopefully won't. Um, but yeah, it's I follow like Butterscotch shenanigans a lot, and they went with that choice of like they were like, well, we could make the game, or we could take like 6 months to a year to build a bunch of systems that make building the game super easy, and we'll probably make our time back. So I'm like, I'm making a similar gamble. And you probably didn't notice, but that whole tile editing system was just running in game. That wasn't like an editor tool in Godot. So I'm trying to make all my tool sets run in game so that I could figure out maybe how to make user generated content, or at least modding easier down the line. Kind of dog fooding my own tools or whatever. So we need to pick the correct position. So this is correct. So negative 1660 is correct for an offset of 0. And so we just need to start going up and down by 32. Is that right? Okay, so which one of you is supposed to be the middle? Is it you? It looks like this one. Layer 3? Okay. So layer 3, you're supposed to be here in the middle. So to do that, you need to go up quite a ways. You need to go up like, and by up I mean down. Like that. Not quite. 60 maybe? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so you're the middle. The rest of you, so you two are above. So 60. So let's try negative 92. Is that right? I think so. There's 1, 2, 3 tiles between us. Something like that. Scott, you're a CS student and a nerd just learning Godot for the first time, so this is all fascinating. Appreciate that. Scott, if you find the alternative to the system very frustrating, it's an investment in your mental health too. Yeah, true. True. It's a little hard to do all of this and have very little to show for it, but people seem to be amused by the tools, so that does help. So next is negative 124, I think. This is for a line layer at 0. Yeah, okay. And so you are plus, so you should be probably 28, negative 28. Yeah. And then so you would be 2, 4, something like that. There we go. Yeah, I can't wait till we have a lot more of this stuff working and I can show people like running around and we can have systems going and all sorts of stuff. I'm very excited for the future of this game this year. I think we're going to start, I think progress is going to be exponential as the tools get put into place because that's what happened with the Butterscotch crew is their progress started to become exponential. Is this all, this feels like it's offset by some amount. Yeah, that does not look right. But maybe it is right. Oh, maybe that's just a quirk of the way I'm rendering it. Okay. Okay, 0. So you are going to be 36. All right. Now let's look at this. Does this look correct now? Yes. Ostensibly. Okay, now we need to transfer these numbers back over though. So negative 1636. So you are negative, oops. No, this is right. Negative 1636. Negative 16.4. Or is this wrong? Am I doing this wrong? We don't need the negative 16. We can just do, we can say 0, 36. So we can say 36, and then we can say 4. Well, hold on. Maybe this is correct. I actually think this side might be correct. I'm gonna wait till we start rendering stuff to figure out whether that's correct or not. But I think this is correct now. Put handler, you're back in it. Okay. All right. Okay, so we fixed the offset. Okay. What's the debugger about? Some interop call. Node not found. Block volume relative to root/game/board. Oh, you need to go through block editor first. Okay, right. So it's block editor slash block volume. That should be correct. Should get rid of that specific error. Yeah, it did. Good. All right, so now we can just iterate through here. Well, we don't need to do this part. But now what we're going to do is we're going to get down here. So while output.tiles.count is greater than 0, what we should actually do, we should send the single big byte array back to the block volume and then have the block volume decompress it. We would say something like we'd go over here, we'd go to our block volume, we'd add some kind of function like func func not internal. This is not an internal function. It'd be like func unpack tile map data. This would be tile map packed tile data. Packed byte array. So we'll have it do this. We'll have the volume unpack it into the various areas. And that should be relatively straightforward. We will probably come up with an adaptation of our tile map snapshot, which does this for us pretty much. We just need to start packing this data. So we can just say block volume dot unpack, or we'd say block volume dot call unpack tile map data tiles. Why is that not right? Dereference of a possible, no, it's block volume. We know that this is not null. Grimgar, you've only messed around in Godot a little. Can you use unique name from Godot to the C#, the percent block name thing? I don't know. I would be surprised. Everything seems a little different. I mean, there's probably an equivalent. But this arrangement is temporary, so we're not going to really do that. Oh no, I'm doing it right here. It totally works. Board equals get node, string name board, unique whatever you call this. It's not a string name. It's a unique name. Yeah, well, you can totally do that. I forgot. All right. So now we just need to get the data packed and then unpacked. Okay, so we'll go over here. So what we're going to do, so here we're going through each tile in a kind of random order, which is unfortunate. So we need an intermediate format. So the way I was going to do it was I was going to have this dictionary, which was the area and layer. And then for each layer of each area, we were going to have a list of shorts, which was the encoded data. So does list have a prepend? Can I tack on stuff at the front of a list? That's kind of what I need. I can insert an element in the list at a specified index, but that would replace whatever's there, right? Or not? Would it add a... Would this replace the thing? Or would this move everything down? The only reason I'm thinking about this is I need to I mean, I guess I could get a count. I could iterate through these things. Actually, I could have a running count going. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go up here. So this is tiles, and this is gonna be dictionary vector 2i int counts. This is partly why I want to split this off and do each layer separately. I kind of want to do each layer separately so it's easier to build, but it also doesn't totally matter. We would just say variable count equals, well, we'd say if counts dot try get value new vector 2i. What did I say I was gonna do this? Was it gonna be? It was gonna be layer then area, which I actually disagree with, but I'm gonna do area then layer because that matches how we do the key above. That just means that the ZW becomes the XY. So we could actually instead of saying new vector 2i, we could actually say, oh, we can't. Oh, unless I have this value here, or this property. Yeah, whatever, who cares? New vector 2i, we're gonna say tile dot area, and then tile dot layer. We're gonna say out int count, yep. So if we already have it, we're gonna say counts. Actually, what we're gonna do is we're gonna say vector 2i gonna say vector 4i tile key equals this. Oh, yeah, without the +3. We should honestly just have tile.key. Let's make that a property of tile. Call it position key. So this would be tile.position key with W equals this is not better. I've changed my mind. This is not better. I need like a dot increment. I need like an increment function or something. Let's go back to what we were doing before. It was more clear what was happening before. get rid of this. All right, so down here, we're just going to say vector 2i key equals, call this a layer key. Layer key new tile.area, tile.layer. So we try and get the layer key. Counts layer key equals count plus 1. Yep, that's exactly what we're doing. Else counts layer key equals 1. Yeah, easy. Can this be a ternary? Is that acceptable? Is that like upset? It would be counts layer key equals, yeah, there we go. And it's not 0, it's 1. Okay, cool. So we can keep track of the counts. Then when we get here, I need this. I need this information. Do I layer key? Yeah, so we need that layer key. So we have some headers that we need if we're going to do it this way. So every tile map layer has a header, which is a number that I don't understand. It's either 0, it usually seems to be 0, but it could be 1. If we look here, if we look at the tile map layer source code, oh, was it already up there? Tile map layer, no, that's the docs. This is tile map, but it's close enough. So this has a tile format. This has a format. The tile map format. So the default tile map data format is format 1. Where do we actually, oh, that would be in the header file, wouldn't it? Yeah, which it ironically doesn't have. Tile map data format is 0 or max, and whenever I see it used, it just says max. So I think it's leaning on the original tile map implementation for something, because the original tile map has a much more complex. I'm curious about this endianness. Yeah. To do, ask someone to check this. Concerning. Yeah, Scott, we're looking at the source code. We're referencing the way that the engine stores tile map data. We're packing it ourselves for reasons that aren't good reasons, honestly, but they're reasons. I'm a little concerned about the endianness thing. We need to account for this eventually, once we start supporting other platforms. But we're not going to worry about that right now. If format is greater than equal to format 2. Curious. Yeah, I don't know what the tilemap data format means. I feel like no one's going to tell me. We should be in the H file again. Yeah, this. So, okay, so tilemap data format 1 is 0. So this is the default one we use. There's other formats, which maybe has to do with endianness or something. We're just going to use format 1, which is 0, because that's what I see whenever I look at the tilemap data, and it seems to be the default for the tilemap layer. So we need to put this 0 at the head, at the front of every one of our tilemap layers, tilemap data. So we put that there. We also need some other headers, though. We need some headers at the very front of the whole pack, which is, for us, going to tell us our layer count and the size of each layer, because we need this information to unpack this. So we need to put that in there. We store it. We store these as S64s, so I don't know why. Oh, because for the slicing, I want to know. The slicing takes an int, and an int is 64 bits in Godot. So we can put those in at the front in int form. That's mostly fine. Or is it? Actually, that's not fine. We could decode U16 or whatever and then cast it to an int. I guess it doesn't matter. Because we should store everything as a uint 16. Which is that the default? Is that what a short is by default, or is a short signed? It's signed. Okay, so I think I actually need a uint 16. Uint 16. Can I do this? What are you upset about? Use type keyword. U short. That's it. I think we need U shorts. I think that's what it expects. What are you upset about? Oh, something about null literals. Who cares? Godot says it's zero-based indexing. 1 equals 0, not confusing at all. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Grimgar. Okay, I think I answered Scott's question. Yeah, no, we're packing the data ourselves. Because we don't want to set each tile individually, because that's like, I mean, we could try to refer directly to the node from inside our tile system. We might actually try that someday. But for now, I just want to send all the data over once. It's a primitive array. Like it's just a array of bytes or whatever. We need to figure out how to convert this to byte. Oh, we just use the memory, the Marshall cast, memory Marshall cast. But that gives us back a span, doesn't it? Maybe we should do this as a per layer system, because we could have a span. We could fill the span up. We could reinterpret the span as a byte, and then we could send the span over to the node directly. As long as we can get a reference to a node in a component. Maybe that's what we should be trying to do. Kind of tempted to try that. I don't know anything about your height. I'm short, yeah. You don't know. You don't know me. I could be a giant. Does this make me seem taller if I stream like this? What if I stream like this? We don't need to pack it ourselves if I do what I just described. Because this has, hold on, tile map layer, tile map layer. Tile map layer has an array function, a set based on an array. Right? I could have sworn maybe it's internal. There's set cell. There's set cells terrain connect. Is that an internal function? The like set based on a whole pack? Yeah, it is. Oh, it's probably when I just say set tile map data. Let me go look around. Let's do a little bit more investigating how we want to do this. Yeah, there's set tile map data from array, and I feel like that's the setter. Yeah, that's the setter for tile map data. So honestly, we could just do this. We could just set it, and then it would handle things like the endianness and stuff itself, I think. It's my understanding of how it would do this. Um, what do we send? We send a... Oh, we just send over the packed byte data. So we still need to assemble the packed byte data, but we could just do it like that. We could do it with a span. So we could get a span in short form and then send it over in byte form, in U short form or whatever. Yeah, it's expecting, okay, so it expects int 16 for the positions. No, it says decode uint 16. Okay, no, so it expects everything to be stored in uint 16. Except for the pointer. Well, obviously. Okay. There's a size, though. So format, here it is, format. So we grab the format at the very front. And then we get a pointer at the start of the cell data, so after the format. Yeah, because index plus equals 2. Okay, so we read the format. We get an index 2 after. Clear the tile map. And then it reads out all of this stuff. So I could just send it over here. I could just grab the tile map directly. What I need to figure out is whether I could, no, I can't put that in a component. This is why we're not doing it this way. I can't put a reference to this in a component, right? Or maybe I can. Maybe I can. Probably not, though. Now all my variables have to be shorts. No, but yeah, but no. Um, how's it going, Scott McDonald? I'm having to say your full name because we've got another Scott in here. It's like 20% of the chat, at least. 20% of the viewership are Scots right now. All right, so could I put a reference to a tile map layer in a component? Could I do it? Is that crazy? A component has to be unmanaged, which is the problem. Well, I don't know if that's the problem, actually. I just didn't think I could do this. So we could make a component. It would just need to be a reference to a node. What's the best way to store a reference to a node? Or not a node, a tile map layer. Do we just store a tile map layer? A tile map layer is a class, right? So if it is a class reference, we can't do it. Yeah, we can't do that. I don't know why I thought I could do that. We definitely cannot. Let's go up here. Let's go to the H is what I should actually do. Yeah, we can't hold a reference to a class and a component. It's the way I've set this up. So we have to do what I'm describing. That's fine. That is fine. A class reference is blittable, but only if it's laid out sequentially and if all of its fields are blittable types. Is that how that works? I'm reading up, I'm brushing up on my memory marshalling, and I don't think I can make those guarantees about tile map layer or node. Scott, no worries, going good. You just have some YouTube on in the background while you're reorganizing around the house. YouTube tossed me onto your stream automatically. Hell yeah. Thanks, YouTube. Thanks, YouTube, for recommending. I know everyone's always shocked. Like Grimgar came in yesterday and was like, YouTube recommended you to me. And I'm like, I'm as shocked as you are. like, all right, so we're gonna keep doing what we're doing where we fill in a tiles queue with this packed deal, this packed dealio here. Um, we can do the whole thing in short form. I've decided. So the way we're going to do that, so the initial thing is going to be the layer count. And then we're going to have an array of layer sizes. So the header is a variable size, but the very first short tells us that size. Very first U short. And then the next variable number of so we get the count. Then after the count comes the sizes of each layer in the count. And then after that comes each tile map data set. Each tile map data set has a header, which is a U short set to 0. And then after that, it just includes all the tile data that we've already collected. So we just need to pack that up, send it over to the parent object of all the tile maps, and then it will iterate through and unpack it for us using something like the tile map snapshot. Kind of want to give it a different name. Probably just call it like pack tile data or something like that. Or I don't know. Block volume tile date. I don't know, whatever. Who cares? I hate naming things. I was on your front page, Scott Hopkins. Damn. Maybe they recommend it to Scott's. Grimgar, you watch too many game devs. Yeah, it's weird. I do too, and I don't get recommended any of them. Like that never happens to me. Like what I get recommended, like I get recommended game devs, but I get recommended VODs or Randy or Watt. So I do get recommended live devs, but the only two huge ones, like Watt, who does that Goblin survival game, and Randy, who's, Randy. Randy needs no introduction in the game dev live stream world. But yeah, I wish it kind of recommended me more small game dev live streams. That'd be cool. All right, so I have an idea of how we're going to do this. So if we go back to the code, we don't technically, okay, we are, so I was like, we don't need to do this in a third pass, but yes, we do need to do it in a third pass because we need the counts for each layer. And we're getting that as we go through. Grimgar, you go out of your way to find smaller devs. The industry deserves more than the top 3% of devs getting all the attention. Yeah, that's the struggle with trying to follow game dev logs and stuff. Like, yeah, there's lots of logs done by like smaller devs, but like when you see interviews and stuff, like when like the people that like Thomas Brush interviews are people who have sold like 1 million copies of their game. And then he asks him like, how do you become a game dev in 2025? And it's like, I'm sorry, you're asking this person who's been around for like almost a decade and has like one or more incredibly successful projects. How do you do game dev in 2025? It's like, I think at that point you just do it. It's like, I love Edmund McMillan, but like, I don't think he has anything to tell me about how to become a game dev, how to like become successful at game dev in 2025. Like, I think our contexts are too different. So yeah, I like to surround myself with smaller game devs too, because like our contexts are closer and like I can understand what they're talking about a lot more. Because our experiences are the same and our life circumstances are closer. Um, all right, so we do our third step. We get so this is our data. This is the actual data. It's in dictionary form for now, but it needs to not be. So we're going to need to do a final pass of compressing all of this together, huh? I guess we don't need to do it yeah, we do need to do it that way because we're doing this non-linearly. We might work on each layer separately. We should call this like layer data. So when we initialize one of these, we give it a U short. I can't define the out variable up here and then just assign it, can I? I just do this. I would say data equals. Actually, what I could say it this way. I could say data equals layer data, try get out data. Or we could say X data. Does this work, or is this like insane? Grimgar, you actually have his course, but it really just comes down to doing it. Yeah. Unless you have disposable income, you wouldn't recommend it. Make it a game. Make it a game, period. Yeah. Scott, you're the same way. You enjoy listening to VODs of bigger devs. You more enjoy listening to people who are going through similar experiences you are. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like, I mean, I like hearing about the craft from experienced devs because obviously they have a ton to teach you about the craft of making the game. But whenever it comes to like success, like explaining, like, that's the problem is the only people that tell you how to be successful are people that are already successful. And depending on how long ago they became successful, their information is out of date. like, like someone who has like 100,000 YouTube subscribers is going to have a different marketing plan than me, who has like a couple hundred YouTube subscribers. So yeah, so it's very different. So what's the deal with this? Value assigned is not used in any path. Converting null literal or possible null value into non-nullable type. Is that fine? Should this be a separate thing? Should this be like... No, so we send back X data or...
Maximum warp.
No, Jewel with the maximum warp. How's it going? Happy Saturday. Grimgar, same, but Dave has shown he's not just a game dev. He's a full DevOps team making tools to make the games. That's solo dev. Solo dev is you do all of it. Scott, a couple hundred plus one, buddy. You're sold? Yeah, welcome aboard. I'm beaming you up. Do you hear that? You just got beamed up to the spaceship here. We're going on a 5-year mission, and I'm not kidding. It's probably a 5-year mission. Scott, you've got a broad spectrum you've dabbled in. Right now, you find yourself building more tools and things like that. You enjoy making things to make things easier. Yeah, and there's a key part of like judging that as far as like whether it's a worthwhile time sink, and that's probably the real art form. But I don't know. Seems tough. All right, so we have our data. Or we either get our existing data out, or we initialize some new data with our header. And actually, the header is going to be 0. We've decided it's 0, not 1. No, Joel, you finished your first YouTube video? You noticed you need to ID with Google before putting links in the description, so you can't really publish the video yet. I think there's a number of ways to do that, but yeah. No, I'm taking a similar approach with videos. I mean, eventually I'm going to want to make a video about like our auto tiler or like, I don't know, our ECS or something. Like once we have more stuff to show, I want to start making like YouTube VODs. But I don't think I'm going to do any YouTube VODs until I get a Steam page up. Because unlike live streams, which are like, they expire like a week after you make them, like no one watches an old live stream, which is fine. That's what they're for. A YouTube VOD like exists forever, right? And people might be watching it like months or years down the line. So like I feel like if I don't have a call to action, like if I don't have a store page or something that people can go wish list when you put out a YouTube VOD, I'm like, oh, I don't want to do it. I don't want to put all that work out there. And I feel like I'm buying myself like months or like many months to build up a YouTube subscriber base that will actually watch the video when it comes out and kickstart, you know, the whatever you call it, the metrics to get it recommended to others. And I also have to learn how to edit videos. That's a whole bunch of work. I'm trying to avoid getting too heavy and too deep into that because I feel like that'll consume all of my time. But you got to do it at some point, I think. So that's awesome. That's awesome that you got the video made. But yeah, it's kind of complicated getting it in a state where you feel like you're going to get something good out of it. All right, so we have our data. We have our data in unsigned and ushort form. We need to just encode. So what do? We just say data dot add range. Adds the elements of the specified collection to the end of the list. Read only span. Ushort. So how am I going to make this collection? Should I add a function for the tile data that just sends the data over? Like, should I have a tile enumerator? Just that converts the data and sends it over in the format that we like. So we do like I enumerable U short, like that. No, Joel. Yeah, it's more of a trial for you. You get no one. You get no one in your streams, so you want to generate a base somehow. I think that's a good approach. No, Joel. It's describing and explaining the shader from the asset you release with it. Okay, so you do have something to link to. You have like an asset. It maybe helps someone, not just for entertainment. It's so much more work than expected. Yeah, that's my concern, for sure. But that's cool. So no, you do have something that you can like reference and link to. You're not just putting out a video. You're like, that makes sense. So how are we going to do this? So when we have like a composition, what else do I have that's an IE enumerable that I can look at and get inspiration from? So what we do here is we go for each and we yield return. So I think I actually need to go line by line and yield return. I think I'd say something like yield return position dot x u short. I can't just explicitly cast to a u short, can I? No, that should be fine, right? As long as the data is of a good size. Or is there like should I say something like, is there like a conversion? There is, isn't there? There's like a conversion thing. C# converting to u short. Conversions dot to u short. Should I use this? Oh, that takes an object. I don't want to do that. What about int 32 to u short? Or let's just say u int 32 or u int 16. This is going to take an object again. I have a feeling. Oh no, this takes an int value. It's not CLS compliant. That's cool. Did I just do that? Convert dot to uint 16. Well, there's an exception if value is less than 0. Awkward. You know, eventually we could probably store this value in uint 16 if we don't need it in another format anywhere else. I'm curious about this. Is this good? Is this better than just the explicit conversion? I want to read more about this. Tell me about this. Tell me about the implications of this. Who cares? Am I streaming tomorrow? No. So we do Tuesday to Saturday. Do convert dot to uint 16. Is that it? The uint with a capital I, probably. Kind of curious about what this does. Public static u short int value to uint 16. Uint. Okay, so first it turns into uint. Okay. Here it says if value is greater than u short dot max value, throw. Otherwise, just return. Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. This is probably the safer way to do it. This is kind of silly, but I'm okay with this. Oh, do you know what I want? Oh, man. This is great. It's great when Ryder knows exactly what I want. This is hilarious. It's like, oh, well, no, it's wrong here. We gotta do the Atlas chords. Come on. There we go. There we are. Now you know. And that's it. That's feels like more than we need. Oh, we don't want area or layer. Oops. I was like, it's supposed to be 12. It's supposed to be 12 bytes. Yeah, 12 bytes, 16 shorts, U shorts. And it just fills this up here. This should be good. This should be good. This is a little silly, but this should be good. So we should be able to just say add range tile. That's easy. Cool. So we do all of that. And then we need to add the packed tile map data headers. Or I don't know. How are we going to iterate through this? We need a system to iterate through this. So I think this is going to end up being a loop. So this is going to be like, so now we need to go through and we need to actually come up with the final byte array. Actually, I guess first we'll make a well now first we're going to make an array of U short, or maybe even just a span. Or actually we should do the other reason I want to break this up a little bit more. No, let's just do it. Let's do it like this. This is a pretty ridiculous way to do it, but this is also a lot of code that we've written that we haven't tested. All right, so what I need to do is now I need an array. Or do I just make one final list and then convert it? Packed data. So we'd say packed data dot add count not counts, so it would be count the constant. Count times count times count. So that's the first header. Count times count. What are you upset about? Oh, you want me to initialize it with that first value? Sure, who cares? And then we need the sizes for each layer, but we need it in the actual order. How do I want to do that? Because we added it here in any order. Could I get a... I actually didn't define my vectors to be sortable, but I probably should, because we could get an array of those, and then no, we want to also sort the values. Who cares? We'll just do a nested loop for variable x equals 0, x is less than count, x plus plus, or y equals 0, y plus blah, 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 blah. Hey, Ryson, welcome back. That amount of time you installed a shower stall, and now you were eating homemade ice cream. Wow, you were living the life. I'm drinking room temperature coffee and packing byte arrays. All right, so we iterate through here. This is how we want to do it. We want to go from 0 up to 5, 0 up to 5. So we say packed data dot add range. Is this gonna work? Can we send another list to the range? We'll see. We'll see if this works. Oh, actually, all we're doing right now is we're adding the counts. Right. So we do this. We add the count. Oh, we could do an insert. We could do an insert, potentially, instead of having to do this loop twice. We're going to add counts, new vector 2i xy. Argument type of int. Oh, why are you an int? Oh, because you are. Convert dot to u int 16. Sweet tea. Bryson, I should get an ice cream maker. That sounds pretty good. Dev Grimgar with the follow on the Twitch side. Thank you. Thank you, Grimgar. Appreciate that. Appreciate the cross follow. To make those packed byte arrays go down smoother, yeah, that would help. All right, so now we're adding the counts to the header. Counts for each layer. If I was really clever, I would just insert into the correct range. But I'm not going to do that. So we're just going to do another pass because that's easier. This is not efficient. I'm constantly fighting the need for my initial versions of things to be like good and efficient. And that is wrong. That is the wrong way to go about development. The first version of anything should, unless it's like a major performance issue, the first version should just be whatever you can put together. And then you go back and you fix it. All right, so here, now we can add range. So now we say pack data. So this is the part that I'm not quite sure about. So add can support just a single item. Add range supports a collection. But does that include, so that could be a span. Oh, so I could say layer data new vector 2i. Can I just say this? Does that count? Is that good enough? I don't need to cast it to a span. That seems good enough. Oh yeah, list is enumerable. What am I talking about? I'm an idiot. Okay. I mean, I could say list dot span as span. Is that better? Probably not. I would probably do that if I was storing all of the data in one thing. Like, it's probably not better to do that. Probably doesn't matter. All right, so we add the headers. Add the layer count and layer sizes. Oops. Let's put that under here. And the layer count and layer sizes as headers. Oh, no, that was the right place to do that. And the layer count and layer sizes to the packed data. As a header to the packed data. Add each layer's tile data to the packed. Add each layer's tile data. You're always fighting the urge to outthink the performance to get it more correct on the first go. You have to constantly remind yourself of the Pareto principle. I mean, to me, it's just like you have no idea what the requirements are going to be tomorrow. Like, So it's like it's just premature optimization in any case, regardless of what happens. But yeah, I actually am not familiar with that principle. Do 80-20 rule. Is it like Pareto or is it just like pair two? 80% of outcomes come from 20% of causes. Interesting. Yeah, that's small things have a big impact most of the time. Focus on the areas that give you the biggest results with the least amount of effort. That's fair. All right, so we've got all the data packed in. Now what we need to do is we need to get it into a state. I guess we just hand it over to the output thing. Oh no, the output thing expects a byte array, which is fair. We say packed data dot to array. Oh no, we need to convert. We need to convert it into. We need to do the Marshall. So we need to say like, well, so what we can do is we can say dot to array. Byte. Bytes. Say memory Marshall dot. Well, let's get it in here so we can actually reference it. No, I don't want to create type. I want the what? Who owns the memory Marshall? Where is that shit? Oh, component was the right thing to look at. Oh, 1L. I'm an idiot. Memory Marshall dot cast u short to byte. Can I get an array back from this, or is it only going to give me a span? It gives me a span, F. Can I get a span to an array? Can I plug in a list to this function? No. Can I say as array or something like that? I can say as span. Okay, so I can send a span into the memory Marshall, get back a span, and then send that span to an array. Copies of it, which sucks, but that's fine. We want a copy because we want that's the marshaller is once it sends it over to Godot, it's gonna pin that memory in all likelihood. So this kind of sucks, but I think this works as an initial attempt. Not totally understanding what's happening under the hood, but this should be fine. I don't know of another way of converting down to a byte array. The first one, not pair two. I don't know. It's probably when you make things out of like simple words. All right, so this should be fine. So we have a byte array. And actually, we shouldn't even do this. We should say output. We should say game dot output dot tiles equals this, or dot tiles dot nq this. Don't need to store it in an intermediary state. Okay, and then that's it. That's it for the tile data. So we've got our tile data in packed byte form, hopefully pinned. As span doesn't do any copying. No, it doesn't. Of course it doesn't. Oh, thank you, Community Toolkit, for providing me the ability to get a list as a span. So we're casting the span. Okay, so there's only one memory copy happening, which is when we finally create the byte array at the end. And then if it's being the hopeful thing is that it's being pinned and not copied again when we pass it back to the well, we'll see. We'll see what happens after this. Because what we're going to have to do here is we're going to have to slice it. And I feel like slice does a copy. Is that how packed byte array works? How many tabs do I have open? Oh, just one. Packed byte array. So if we get this packed byte array and we just start slicing, we're making copies, right? As a new packed byte array. That's fine. Should I store this in the output as a packed byte array? I don't know. Maybe? Instead of storing it as a... Like, what happens if I do this? Like, if I say... Instead of saying byte tiles, what if I say... Well, what if we do this? So block volume.call unpack tile map data tiles. Okay, so I'm sending the whole tiles thing over. Let's go see. Let's go see how this is going to work. Unpack tile map data. This is my tile map snapshot version of it. Probably have a helper eventually. So this gets a tile. Let's just, so we're not going to do anything with this data, but we have it. Let's see what kind of crazy errors we get. None, but I don't think I'm running the tile map system. Oh, well, the input handler is not running. Is a thing. No, it's here. Oh, no, we have tons of errors. Given key 00 was not found. It's not present in the dictionary. Oh? It wasn't? Curious. All right. Time to debug. All right, what do we got? Okay, so this conversion... Given key 00 was not present in the dictionary. Oh, so in the counts dictionary, we didn't have a key for 00? That's suspicious. Well, at least we know that this system is running, I guess. Oh, no, we might not. That's actually a good point. We actually might not. Shoot. Because we might not have any tiles in a given tile map data, but we still want to send it over. Here, I want to test something. So let's go to the test system. Not the test system, the main system. I'm gonna go to the main system. We are running this system. I don't want to. So we're not gonna run that for a second. What I do want to see is I want to see what it looks like if I have a tile map that is empty. So let's add our stupid tile map detective back here. Let's go into our tile map detective. Let's clear it. I want to see what an empty tile map looks like, tile map data. Is it blank or does it have one value? Does it just have the header or is it truly blank? That's what I want to know. You'll just print the data for me. It's an empty array. Okay. Doesn't even have a header, which is fair. Fair. If it's empty, what's the point? If I add a value, we should see 14. Should see an array of length 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14. All right, so all of that, we understand how this works now. Each tile takes up 12 bytes, and there's a 2-byte header. Okay. And if the tile map layer is empty, the tile map data is also empty. It doesn't just have an arbitrary header in there by itself. That's also good to know. Ryson, you should put the Twitch chat above your head in that generally empty area so you can see what you were responding to on Twitch. I feel like they'd say the same thing about you, though, Ryson. Or are people doing that in post when you see that shown on YouTube? You don't watch a lot of streams. No, people totally do that. I don't, because I don't want to have to edit these. And so if someone comes in and like writes some horrible shit and manages to get past the moderator, I don't want to have to think about that. But yeah, the problem is that the Twitch people are asking me to do the same thing about you on the YouTube side. And it's against terms of service to show both chat windows, so I'm kind of hosed either way. Like I could pick one. The irony is that I generally have more viewers on YouTube, but I also have more chatters on Twitch. I say generally, but today the YouTube chat has blown the Twitch chat out of the water. Yeah, there's at least like 5 or 6 times as many YouTube chats today. So I don't know. I don't know which one to pick, honestly. Yeah, it would be in the way of the properties panel. I also don't use the properties panel very much, but I should. So yeah, I don't know. I don't have a good solution for it. All right, we're on an ad break. I'm gonna drink some water. I've forgotten to drink water today. All right, so we need to handle this. So we need to handle this case of there being no tile map data on a specific layer. So we need to handle that. So we need to almost ask, we need to say something like if counts so we need to say pack data add word to uint16. So we do this. Ternary expression here. Count or 0. All right. Why are you upset about this? Get value or default? Oh, sick. Get value or default is dope. That makes sense that has that. Godot has that, and I use that all the time. Okay, so we can add a 0 to the header. Because at the moment, I don't have a way of distinguishing between... I don't have a layer ID thing. Eventually, we need an ID. We need to move away from this system of like handling empty tile map layers, probably. And we probably need a different way of representing... We need like an ID system with like a lookup table of some kind so that we can register a node somewhere that's not in a component, somewhere safe. Or I guess we can put it in a component, but it's not going to be like a class reference. It would be like an ID of some kind. And we need to remap it whenever we started or stopped the game. Um, we need something like that because I'd rather just be able to say, tile map layer, this is your tile map data. Whereas right now I'm sending it to the parent object, and the parent object needs to just set the tile map data for its whole, for all of its layers. And a lot of that data might be 0. And if it is 0, I do want to set it though, actually, I guess. Like if we've deleted the last tile in a layer, just because that layer is not represented anymore, we still need to reset it even if it's empty. So I guess that's fine. Add each layer's tile data. So we're going to say, we're just going to make this an if. We're going to say, like if counts dot get value or default is greater than 0. Oh, actually no. We know that these are all full now. So we would just say if counts this greater than 0, add the pack data. Our pack data process can handle empty layers. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. For some reason, trying to think about that is doing your head in. You think your problem solving skills are more sap than you realize? Yeah, you've been solving engine bugs. Like, that's way crazier than whatever I'm doing. It's also Saturday, so, like, don't think too hard. All right, so all of this stuff, is this still saying it's layer data is never updated? What are you talking about? Oh, list data, add range. Oh, we need to put that data back, right? Or no, this is a reference. This is a reference. So getting this list out of here. Oh, no, but we do need to assign it back. At least in this case. So, oh, these are different. These are different. Oh, this is awkward. We're making a new list every time. We don't want to do that. We want to say layer data dot try get value data. So if we already have it, we can say data dot add range tile. Otherwise, we're going to say why are you upset here? Oh, it's there's a conflicting definition. Otherwise, we're going to say list u short data. Or does that not work? Can we just say data? We could say data equals this. Then we'd say data dot add range. Actually, I guess we say data dot add range either way. No. Data dot, well, we could say, whatever. Data dot add range, and then what we need to do, technically I could put this after the if else, but what we want to do is we want to say layer data dot add. Could we do the add here and then just do the assignment here? Because this is a list, so it's a reference. Yeah, we can just do this. Okay, this is fine. Then we do the add range to whichever data list we have. Now what are you complaining about? No literal, whatever. Yeah, it's Saturday. I stream on Saturday so that I can see people I don't normally see. People that like are working or generally unable to see the stream during the week. And also because I go into our office on Mondays, so I generally just can't stream on Mondays. Gotta go do my day job at a physical location. Like I'm an ancient person having to go into an office. It's crazy. It's actually kind of scary how quickly we're rolling all that stuff back, all the remote work stuff. It's kind of insane. It was such a blessing. It was like the one time capitalism was like working in the laborer's favor. Was when everyone was like, "Hey, it's way cheaper if we don't actually own offices. This is pretty great." Now we're heading back. We're going against that so hard now. It's insane. Okay, so I fixed a problem I didn't know I had. Now this should work. I mean, well, now we should run into the next problem I didn't know I had, to be specific. No error. Well, I'm not running the thing. I forgot. I'm not running the system. I get a little too excited. I'm like, oh my God, no errors. And I'm like, wait, am I even running the thing? I am not. Tilesystem.run. All right, next error. Key 00 was not present in the dictionary. I swear this is the same error we dealt with last time. I just said packed data. Oh, it might not be in counts. Right. So we have to say this still. Easy. We could actually just say, we didn't have any errors. We didn't actually need to do this version. We could say if try get value. Oh, we just dispose of the out variable. If we have any data, we add it. Ricin, it isn't cheaper for the landlords, which the company upper management and shareholders have a stake in. Yeah, generally. They could have just got rid of their offices. Could have just done it. It's like by far and away the most unnecessary spending. I mean, don't get me wrong, I live in San Francisco and like downtown has never been the same, but I also don't know if I care or particularly like downtown. It's definitely a lot of money the city's not getting now from pretty much just things like parking garages and stuff. Like our public transportation system is tanked really hard because people aren't parking all day while they go to their job. That was like the largest source of revenue for our public transit system was cars, which seems fair. Okay, so this all works on this side. So up until we dump the array, it works. Now we need to do the next step, which is, so are we calling this function? Let's see. Uh, get rid of this, whatever this is. Go to board. Wait, where did I put this? Unblock block volume. I should probably not make this a function of block volume. I should probably make this a function of the board, and then have it route stuff down further or something. But for right now, this is okay. For right now, we don't care. We're gonna just say print. Time to unpack, I guess. All right. So we are getting the stuff every frame. I would like to just print out the pack tile data so we can scrutinize it a little bit. It's going to be hard to scrutinize, but it's getting the same thing every time, which is concerning. It's actually not getting anything except the header, except the initial header. So that's a bit of an issue. We should be seeing a random value jumping around here, because this whole thing is just the headers. So 36, which is 6 times 6. So this is just the header. We should be getting a random set of values that are bouncing around. So we're not setting any tile data, is what it looks like, which is fine. That we do somewhere else. That we do here. Oh, we should have some kind of mark here, so we're not running it every time. Yeah, so try preview block should be doing something for us. Try to understand why it's not. Yeah, and sell them to who? That's a good question. That's a good question. I'm not trying to solve our problems here. I'm just trying to I'm trying to solve my problems. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make a game. Well, let's just figure out where the issue is. We should be preview blocking it. Should be doing stuff here. I probably shouldn't be doing both. Okay, so the preview block thing is never running. That's... Are we just never running this system? That would be hilarious if that's our problem. No, it says we're running it. Maybe we're not, though. Maybe we're not actually running the tool system. Let's turn off the other debug log for now. So we are never attempting, or we're never actually doing it. So the within bounds thing we never get through. So let's see, let's isolate. Let's say print, oops. Let's debug dot, well, we don't care about these ones. Let's debug dot log this. Debug dot write line. No, we don't want the next step again. We want command dot step. want to make sure we're hovering or getting a coordinate or something. So let's mouse around here for a moment. Okay, we're not getting to this part either. So we are never getting a tool command. So what's the edit system doing? Game.input.tools.enqueue command. So debug.writeLine command.step. Figure out where this disconnect is. Not here either. Okay. So we're never even getting an edit count. Do I not have the input handler turned on? I do. I know for sure that I do. Yeah, you're on. You're online. Okay. Now, if the game state is string, is edit, we do all of this cool stuff. What's going on here? Here, this is what we're interested in. Mouse hover. Match game.state is string. Edit. Edit hover. Otherwise, view hover. Okay. Is this ever running? Hovering. Okay, so this is running. So we are hovering. Let's see if this match ever pulls itself off. Or if the match is just not going. Am I never setting game state? No, we're doing that as well, I think. Let me clear that and make sure. Okay, no, we're doing it. So we are in the correct state. We are in queuing input. We're here. Let's see if we're editing. We're editing. Okay, so we're adding stuff to the edit queue. That's good to know. Okay. And then so the problem is here somewhere because we're never getting to this part. Problem is somewhere between the computer or the keyboard and the chair. We just got to figure out where. Okay, so we've got these. So our command step is edit, and we're getting it. We got that. But for some reason, we don't get any farther. So we get into this switch case. We aren't getting the tool. Is that not what I'm writing here? Edit, hover. Oh. Oops. Is that how I need this to be? That is how I need it to be. Like I said, the problem is always between the keyboard and the chair. Or in my case, the keyboard and the green screen. So we need an edit tool hover. Oops. Oopsies. I want to change tool and probably rewrite it to say block or something like that. All right. So that should be working now. Now we should have some kind of error, other error. Preview block Preview block at 875. Preview block at 875. It shouldn't be getting this this many times. It should only be getting it if we move. A little suspicious that it's happening that many times. It's only supposed to happen if we meaningfully move. If we meaningfully move locations. Try preview block at, so coords, try reveal block at hover. So the hover is supposed to be doing more here, right? Is it? Is it not? Mouse hover. Who calls this? Is it the board? If mouse coords are not equal to prior coords, are we never assigning prior coords? No, we are not. Cool. Prior coords equals mouse coords. Dope. So now it should only get called once, which is great. When we actually move coordinates. Viewing direction. Who knows this? Is this being set here? This is not the right place to set this. Huh. Maybe it is. All right, bring us on some more errors. Bring us on some bugs. Let's try to understand. Okay, now every preview block call should be for a different tile position. It is. Cool. Okay, let's find the rest of these right lines and get rid of them. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. All right, now what we want to do is we want to go back to inspecting this tile data. So now we should be setting one tile. And so we should see that coordinate bounce around. Where are we going to test this? Here? Yeah. Oops, not what I wanted to do, but that should be fine. All right, still nothing other than the header. Disappointing. Is that true, actually? Let's print packTile data.size. Ugh. I don't understand why things are properties or methods sometimes. $74. Oh, that's interesting. Is that 36 times 2, though? No, that's not. 36 times 2. 72. There's something happening here. 6 times 6. Oh no, it's 6 times 6 times 2. No, it's 6 times 6 plus 1, because we have the count itself. Plus 1. God. It's correct, because it's 36 plus 1 times 2. What? What the f... Why can't I get this calculator to work? I know the math is right. Plus 1. 37 times 2. 74. Okay, so this is just the header. So we're still not applying any data. Huh. How are we going to deal? How are we going to test this further? We could try testing. So here, we could try testing this. Well, we already debugged this. We know we're doing this. We know we're writing to the buffer. Buffer index equals not block erase mode, active block tool. What's our active block tool set to be? Maybe we don't have our active block tool set to be anything. Let's say active block tool equals block.forms.deck. Maybe we're not painting with anything. Is this not? Oh, block.deck. There we go. That should be it. That should do it for us. We should start to see data. We were painting with like an empty paintbrush. 116. That seems like a lot of information. But is that right? It's just 12 bytes. So shouldn't it be, or 14, shouldn't it be 74 plus 14? Shouldn't it be 88? Why is it 116? What if it's 2 tiles? It shouldn't be. What if it is? 14 times 2 plus 74. 102 plus 14. So it's sending us data for 3 tiles. That seems like more than it should be. I'm going to try to read this. It's not going to be easy, but we're going to try to read this. We should try to just finish the unpacking process so that we can just render whatever we're getting and make sense of it that way, but curious about what's going on here. Oh, we have a debug issue. What is this? Who cares what it is? Let's go into the debugger and test it properly. That would explain why we're getting a weird answer, probably. Collection was modified. Enumeration operation may not execute. Oh, interesting. So this was modified. So the tiles collection was modified. Yeah, that is happening, isn't it? I'm writing it back here. So you're not allowed to do that? That changes the way I want to do this a little bit. Probably have just a different data structure for the hull. Because all we're really assigning here, if I'm correct, is the hull. That's the only thing we assign. Well, not here. Here we do the important stuff. But up here, we just do the hull. And the tile doesn't actually need that information here. So let's do this differently. Let's get rid of this. Let's move the hull to its own data structure. So let's say, so here, we'll have it keyed in the same way. So up here we'll say, we'll have a private read-only dictionary vector 4i hull hulls. Because we're trying to reassign tiles that we're setting when we're doing the hull check. So we can just set up the hulls and then do the tiles in the second pass, and that way we're not modifying a collection at all. So here we just need to modify this. We need to say hulls position key equals tile with, oh no, it's just going to be hull. Be fine. Are you inserting or removing? No, well, we're not doing either, but it's still upset. We're just reassigning. So we're saying tiles at this key is tile with these additional properties filled out, which we don't need to do. We'll be able to do it this other way and it'll be simple. We do the same thing down here. And now we can just iterate through. So we don't have to do this part. So we can say, we can get rid of this. What we should do is we should say all. We should have a key collection. Keys. Alls. Dot keys. This is going to be for variable I equals 0. I is less than. Alls dot count I plus plus. We can say tiles. Have I ever played Dwarf Fortress? Yes, I have. I like it. I'm not a huge player. For a number of reasons, I get really obsessive and perfectionist, if that's not obvious from watching me try to make a game. I struggle with some of those larger colony builder kind of things. Even RimWorld, I struggle with. Um, all right, I have someone to ban over on the Twitch side. I'm going to enjoy this. Substandard stopgap. You've been banned. I enjoy doing that. All this keys. Do I need to do this in a dictionary format like this for each tile and tiles? Tile.area, tile.layer. Yeah, okay. What are you upset about? Never updated. Cool. All right, so the second pass, we're pulling out the keys and the hulls. We are going to use them for this. Extra storage. It's a lot extra memory, but it doesn't matter for now. So we're going to say tile equals new tile. the new tile, it's going to be keys I, correct? Cannot apply indexing to an expression of type key collection. What? Can I not? Can I literally not do that? Okay, so instead we're going to say for each, yeah, that's weird. Huh, unfortunate. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to do this. Say for each vector for I key in keys. So I can enumerate, I just can't index. So we'll say for each key, I could call this tile position. I should say tile position, or I don't know, tile key in keys. All keys, I don't know. Holes keys, whole keys. Just say keys. For each tile key in keys, tile, variable tile is a new tile. Going to be tile key dot xy. Why can't I do that? Oh, you're just complaining about the constructor. Tile key. Oh, I can't do it. Yeah, I can do tile key dot x, tile key dot y, tile key dot z. Can I just say tile key? No, I need to say tile key dot xy, tile key dot z, tile key dot w. That's it, right? Yeah, okay, good. I should accept a vector 4 as a tile constructor, huh? Oh, I need to just include an empty body, right? Okay. I was like, why are you upset with me? You always get obsessive too, Ryson. Twitch people getting banned. Bunch of bad apples over there. Yeah, it's usually bots. It's usually very shameless bots. All right, so we've defined our new tile. So we got a new tile. I don't need to do this. I can just say tile key. Now instead of tile hall, I need to say variable hall. Or I can say hall. Hall. Similarly, I could say tile equals new. Hull equals hulls tile key. I just need to oh Lord. Out tile. This is hulls dot try get value out bulk hull out hull. Uh, why am I doing this? I'm checking to see. Why am I saying bulk? So hull tiles get blah 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 blah. Tile dot layer plus 3. So we're trying to get the Z layer of the bulk. But we're asking here if their hull is the same as ours. Okay, okay. Bulk. So we'll say bulk. If the bulk is the same as our hull, say whatever, who cares? Adjacent tile, so all right. Rewriting some code. This is adjacent. So the adjacent hull is not the same as ours. We continue. Source ID is hull. The deck hull. All right, this isn't too bad a refactor. We get down here. So here we're saying tiles is new. It's tile. Oh, here we can just say key. Did we say tile key? Say key. So we don't reference this at all. Oh, we do. Okay. Seems fine. All of this seems fine. So we get down here. We say for each tile in tiles. That's this, though. Tiles is just the dictionary. So if I enumerate through a dictionary in C#, I get the values. I get the keys. I guess I should just set the value collection to what I want it to be. Tiles. Why are we storing this like this? Why do we do this? This seems stupid. Here I declare this. I shouldn't do that. Tiles key is tile with this, with these values. And then here we say for each tile. Okay, so here we can say dictionary vector for I tile dot value collection tiles equals tiles dot values. There we go. So we can say for each tile in tiles, that's what we want. We go through the key collection of all the holes. Set up our key, our tiles in here with the keys. We go through now with the value of the tiles. Okay, it shouldn't complain anymore. I say confidently. I mean, it shouldn't complain about that. I should specify, and it's not. Holy balls. Okay. We're getting tile data. We're getting a lot of tile data. This is like more tile data than we should be getting. But maybe not. Let's not print that out anymore. All right. I'm satisfied that we're getting tile data. Instead, let's print out the size of that data. Okay, it looks like the tile data is getting through. It looks like it's never being reset, which is a problem. It looks like it's only ever being added. So except for that, we're good. Why would this always be growing? There's a number of reasons that this could be. Let's try one more thing here. So if my mouse stays out here the whole time, it should never add anything. And yet we're adding tons. Okay, so the thing preventing us from placing blocks is not working. Because we should not, and we're also not cleaning up our old stuff either. So we're not doing two things. We're not previewing blocks correctly. Hidden blocks is buffer index equals hidden blocks coords. Set the buffer index. So I've made this buffer. Am I not clearing maybe the buffer? Is the buffer maybe starting with garbage data? No, that shouldn't be it. This try reveal block seems to be not doing anything. So we try to reveal the block at the prior coords, and then we try to preview block at the current coords. Not using active blocks as a thing yet. So what is probably happening? We're just adding and adding and adding and adding and filling out buffer data without cleaning it up, is what it looks like. So if we're not in eraser mode, we use our active block tool. Otherwise, we are in eraser mode, we check to see what our... So we shouldn't be in eraser mode, for one thing. So that's good. And then the problem is probably here during the cleanup. So buffer index is hidden blocks coordinates. So if hidden blocks doesn't have the prior coordinates, buffer index is get position no. What? Wait. What? Ah. This is the problem, I think. We don't want any reference to the prior coordinates in this function. Now what are you upset about? For a try get call over a dictionary accessor, indexer access guarded by a contains key to avoid double lookup. We're not... I guess we are doing a double lookup. Okay. Okay, that is better. Okay, I think that's the problem. I think we weren't cleaning up correctly. We were adding stuff, which was also concerning, but we definitely weren't cleaning up. So this number should be stable now, at least, if nothing else. Nope, it's still climbing indefinitely. Okay. Flexing. Man, it just leaps up at one point. Or does it? No, it grows like... No, it definitely leaps up in fairly large numbers. About 72 at a time. Something like that. Yeah, it keeps adding in increments of 72. What is that? What is the significance of that? 72. 72. Oh my god, I can't use the calculator. 6. It keeps adding up 6 tiles at once, which is strange. All right. I want to get through this bug. And then I think I'm going to say we're good. Probably handle the unpacking and later. But we should be dealing with a stable number of tiles when we are currently not. So why might that be the case? I mean, this within bounds check doesn't seem to be working. It's checking within negative max build volume and positive max build volume. That's wrong. It should be checking between 0 and max build volume, right? Or whatever. What is this? Vector 3i dot 0. I want to swap this out with an AABB overlap thing, but I haven't done it yet. So let's see what that does. That should prevent us from adding tiles when the mouse cursor is way out here. Yeah, okay, so that accomplishes that at least. But if we are on target, if we're in here, if we're operating in here, it seems to just go indefinitely. I don't really know how that's possible. Well, what's maybe, am I triggering on input multiple times? No. So the input only happens when we jump from one coordinate to a new coordinate. Um, and actually, it shouldn't matter if we're resetting the buffer. The problem is not in the buffer. The problem is probably in the tile map packing system. I bet the problem is over there. I bet the buffer is actually stable. We could utilize the active blocks dictionary here as like a debugging tool and figure this out and eliminate this as the culprit. So here we could say active blocks coords equals buffer index, I guess. I don't know. And here we're just gonna debug dot write line active blocks. Let's see how that works. I'm pretty sure this should be stable. There's probably a problem with the buffer with the tile data array that we're making. Oh, I probably should not have both of these trying to debug at the same time. Where's the other? Where are we debugging this? Where are we writing this from? Probably here. Yeah. So the tile data array just keeps getting bigger, and I feel like that's not the fault of this part. This part should be stable. And it's actually not writing anything. Oh, I need to tell it to debug a specific thing. It's count. Is there a reason you're not doing anything? Oh, you want to write every frame. I don't want that. One. Okay, so the preview block system is working correctly. We only ever have one preview block in place. So that's correct. Okay, so the problem is in the tile map data packer. There's something which should be getting cleared every frame, and instead of being cleared, it's being aggregated. It's probably one of these new dictionaries I set up. It's probably this one. It's probably the Halls one. So we need to say, yeah, this is probably it. Halls.clear. Is it that simple? Is it that easy? Oh, I didn't turn the debugger back on. What? Oh, did I try running a specific scene? I did. Both on press and release. We're not working on press or release. This is just an input. So the mouse is hovering around, and every time we move to a new tile map cell, it's sending a command that the mouse is hovering over that cell. That's all it's doing. Okay, now it's stable. Okay, yeah, I just wasn't clearing something. It still doesn't make sense why it's 116, but it seems to be 116 at all times. Oh wait, no, it should be, shouldn't it? Because it's data for the deck, which is 3, because there's the deck XYZ layers, and there's data for the block, and the block's XYZ layers. So that's 6. And 6 times 14, 6 times 14 is 84. And 84 plus the header of 74 is still not the right number. 158. Okay, so that's not right. So, oh, we don't need the wall. It's just the deck. So 14 times 3 plus 74 is 116. Okay. So it's the XYZ tile map layers for the deck are being written out. Okay. I think we have good data. I think we got good data. What the hell? Let's see if we can unpack this real quick. I would love to get a visual representation of what we've been working on for like weeks. That would really be good for me. That would be a great way for me to end my working day here. But I do want to go get some lunch. So we're gonna try this. We're gonna attempt this for like a little bit. If it doesn't work, we'll call it. So unpacking wise, yeah, the delay. Yeah, the delay is brutal. It's hard to get used to. You kind of have to get used to, especially someone, whether the delay is long or whether someone has like is getting a lot of messages. I've started to get better about including the context of my message in the message. It feels super awkward to talk that way. Like you have to be really explicit about what you're asking about. But yeah, it's kind of a pain, so I don't blame anyone for not doing it. Because yeah, it's really hard to communicate your question or your statement and the context that you made your statement in. Because yeah, it'll get misinterpreted all the time, right? Where the streamer has moved on and you're still like asking questions about something, and they'll misinterpret it as being a response to something else they did, like in the meantime. Yeah, it's tough. All right, so unpacking tile map data. So what we're gonna do is we are going to say for child in get children and for grandchild in child.getChildren. So for each of these layers, so how do we do this? Tile map snapshot. How did you do this? So you would store, so when you unpacked tile map data, you would get your byte, you would get the layer count. So you'd say packed, so we're gonna say so we know our layer count already, so we don't really care. So what we're gonna say is, how do we do this? So layer sizes is an array. We could resize. So we resize this based on the layer count. Okay, because this handles. So right now we have a constant layer count, so we don't have to worry about this stuff yet. And then we say for layer index in the range of 0 to the layer count. Okay. Layer sizes is packed tilemap data dot decode layer index. Okay, so this is like an inner thing. So you'd unpack it into this object that has this stuff, which we might as well reuse this for now. Although we do want slightly different data. So we aren't using signed 64-bit integers. We're we're decoding uints. Then we are slicing out layer count times 8 plus 8. Is this just removing the header from the data? I think that's what this is doing. Okay. No, it's definitely not your bad, Ryzen. I don't do this all the time and I get misunderstood. It's just exceptionally like bad on YouTube, I guess. The delay. And then here we slice it. So we send in an index that we want. Layer begins at 0. You say for index in range of layer index. You say layer begins plus equals layer sizes index. Okay. Okay, so you go through each index and you add up the layer sizes. Okay. Okay. Um, are we storing the count or are we storing the actual size of the data? I think we're storing the count over here in the tile system. Like, what are we storing in the header? Here we're storing the layer count, which is count times count. Okay, and then we're adding the counts. Okay, so we're storing the count, not the size of the data. I should call that tile count or something on the Godot side so I know what I'm talking about. Because then it will be tile count plus 2 to account for the header. Oh no, shoot, it's tile count plus 2 time. Oh god, okay, I shouldn't do it this way. So pack data, we should try this instead. We should try to add counts. Oh, and then if counts is, we should say counts dot try get value out int count. And if we do get it, it's count times 2 plus 2. Or it's the u short of 0. Can we just say 0? Because we're converting all of it into u short anyway. Okay, so this way, in the pack data, so the first number is the number of layers, and then the next number is going to be the size of each layer if we store it this way. So we get the count, we multiply that number by 12. So it's count times 12, and then plus 2 for the header. And then this is the actual size of that layer of data. That's better. I don't want to fuck around with having to count counts and headers and the counts of headers and yeah, I don't want to do that there. I just want to store this is the size. This is the size in bytes of each tile map layer. Here we're adding the data. Pack data dot layer data. We're storing the header up here, aren't we? Yeah, we are. Okay. Yeah, we're adding a u short of 0 the first time we try to do this for each layer. You were going to try to get something on screen for some visual payoff. Yeah, that would be sweet. I agree. I'm not going to spend more than like 10 minutes on it. Because if it's anything more than just trivial to implement by this point, then I'm honestly quite shocked that this has so far worked. What we're gonna get though is whatever we get is gonna be visually very wrong, is my feeling, and then that's fine because then next time we'll just debug my re-implementation of the auto tiler because it's very likely I did not re-implement the auto tiler correctly. It's very likely that I did not do that. But as long as we get something on screen, I'll be somewhat happy. You can only do this offline kind of, or do this like non-visual work for so long. You can only work for so long without any feedback before you start to kind of go insane. And we definitely got there with the entity component system, and we kind of got there again now with the tile editor. Although I admit this tile map solution has taken way less time than the entity component system took. But I kind of add them together. So we did that. We did the thing. So now each piece of data here is the actual size of the layer, which is what we expect here. So what I should do is I should change the tile map snapshot here to expect U short headers. So it's going to be layer count. Yeah, I kind of want to just use this for now and see if this works. And so we're going to say packed tile map data dot resize. Oh no, this is the pack. So the pack function isn't going to work. So unpack tile map data, layer count, pack tile map data dot decode S64. I kind of want to leave this as is and just copy this out and make the data structure myself right here. So before we actually go iterate through the children, we're going to do this. We're going to say integer layer count equals pack tile map data dot decode U16. Why are you upset about this? Seven five expected end of statement after expression. I don't know. And then we're going to say array, say variable layer sizes. Make this a new array or something. How do you declare a new array? New array. Okay, why are you so upset with me? If I just take all of this away. Pack tile map data. Oh, you don't want to be, I've, is that not right? If I just say var, there we go. I forget how GDScript works every single time I switch back to it. How do I make an array of a certain size? Constructor. Did I just say resize? I guess I don't care about resizing. I can just, we're just going to iterate through it, huh? Godot, GDScript is weird, man. So we can just say this, layer sizes, and we can say for layer sizes, well, we know we're doing this linearly. We can say dot add or something like that, or is it append, dot append, or append? Decode U16. So we need to decode. So here it says layer index times 8. That's the size of each header. So we change that to say 2 plus 2 for the initial header. Okay. So we do all of that, and then here we say we're going to say packed byte array tilemap data. Or no, that's not how we do it. We say variable tilemap data equals packed byte array dot slice. We could say this. And it's layer count times 2 plus 2. That strips the headers. And then so what we do down here is we say for each child, we go down here. This is more complicated than it needs to be because I'm mimicking the process that I had for this. We're going to do something like this, but because we're looping, we don't need to do it exactly this way. So we don't need to say variable layer begins. So if anything, we do this up top here. So we say layer begins, it's 0. And then here, we also say variable index int equals 0. So for each one of these, we're going to have an index plus plus at the end. Can you not index plus plus? Index. Or is it just upset about something else? Okay, no, you can't index plus plus. Index plus equals 1. So we're going to say layer begins plus equals layer sizes index. Layer ends, we're going to say layer ends don't need to declare these probably, or assign it. Who cares? Probably don't need to do that. That's the default value for all of those. So we say layer ends equals layer begins plus layer sizes layer index. Layer index or just index? For index in range, layer in. Okay, so layer index here is actually layer ends, layer begins plus layer size. No, it's just regular index. Index. Okay, so here we're needing to rebuild the layer begins number when we're doing it as a function because we don't remember this stuff, but we're just iterating through it all once, so we don't need to do that the way we're doing it here. So this is not useful. right? We're just adding as we go. Layer ends is layer begins plus layer sizes. So it's wherever we begin plus our size. And then we are going to say, so here we say grandchild. So here we say get children dot tile map data equals tile map data dot slice. All right, that should be all we need to do to unpack the data. Big if. But let's try it. What's the worst that could happen? Crash. Out of bounds, get index 36 on base array int. What is the... Oh, wait, what? Why are you trying to do that? Wait, how many children do we have? Oh, I need to get rid of the, I need to say... So, you have 6 children. The problem is the area has 7 children. So let's just fix that. Let's get rid of the door. We don't support the door layer anyway. Oh, look at this. Something's rendering. A tile's rendering in approximately the right spot. We're seeing an issue with the X face, and we have some... For some reason, what we're getting is semi-transparent, but we're doing something. Oh, we're getting some interesting wrapping. Okay, we have some weird problems to solve, but otherwise, this is okay. What if I go down to the next level? It's rendering down to the next level. What if I go to the next level? Oh, shit. We can render across tile map layers using the simulation data that we're setting up. All right. That's huge. It looks janky and stupid, but this is huge. This is like months of effort to get to this point. It's so dumb. All right. And it works with no errors. I mean, its behavior is incorrect. Oh, does it really want me to assign an initial value? Who cares? I'll do it just to get you to stop yelling at me. All right. So we need to clean some of it up. That problem is somewhere in the auto tiler, which is where we expected the problems to be anyway. But that's awesome. That's great. Probably it seems like nothing, but this is great. Then we just need to re-implement a bunch more functionality that we had in the old auto tiler, like drag clicks and placing blocks and things. But this is the hardest thing is rendering the first triangle kind of problem. And we did that. We just need to render the other tile. I don't know what's happening to the third tile. It's a good question, but that's fine. We'll figure that out next time. That feels like a great stopping point. Awesome. Well, I'm going to wrap it up here. I appreciate everyone hanging out with me on a Saturday. We'll be back on Tuesday. We'll see where I'm at. I actually probably am not going to work on this stuff off stream the next couple days. What I probably am going to work on is deciding how I'm going to be building our tile atlases, because once we can do this rendering and we can represent these more complicated things, that's when I want to start getting in these more complex shapes. And I need to figure out how I want to render how I want to build the tile sets. I'll probably do it by hand at first, but I really want to get some kind of tool so that I can basically like this is one object, right? And this is like the 4 directions of this object. I would like to get a system where I could draw this object out and draw however many of these objects I want, and then have the system understand and build a tile set. The only issue with that is I'd want it to be smart enough to tell that like this triangle face here and this triangle face here are the same. So there's a bunch of like tricks I would want to show it. And for that we would need to paint these, so it would need to go through and be like, oh, is the green face here a green face we already have? Great. So there's a bunch of stuff I need to do to figure out that tool. Probably for now we're just gonna punt on it and lay it out all by hand. But there's a lot of stuff I want to do with this because I want some complicated shapes here. So we'll figure it out. That's probably what I'll work on over the rest of the weekend and like through Monday. And I'll just keep doodling on that stuff. And then we'll come back on Tuesday and we'll fix the auto tiler issues that we're seeing and start expanding the auto tiler functionality. But that's awesome that we're getting our tile data out of the simulation layer back into Godot. I want to maybe look at some pointers and see what's happening under the hood as far as like how much the memory is being copied. But who cares? Who cares? We're slicing this memory multiple times, so whatever. The fact that we're hopefully pinning, all I really want to confirm is that we're pinning the managed memory, and this initial array is the pinned version of the managed memory, and then whatever, we're slicing the data twice after that. So we're splitting it out into new arrays and stuff, but as long as that's the case, I'm pretty happy with this workflow. Yeah, this feels pretty great. I usually don't end on a win, so it feels good to end on a win one time. Asprite allows for user Lua scripts. Interesting. What I was going to do is use their slicing tool to generate JSON files, and so that I could embed some information into the sprite that way. But yeah, we'll see. I might have to look into the Lua scripting. We'll see. I don't want the scripts to be running in Asprite. The intention is that you make your art in Asprite, and then in Godot we build out the tile set that we want. So, and we do it that way. But we'll see. We'll see what we do. Who knows? It's a brave new world. I'm gonna get some music going here. Play myself out here. Oh, this is a long one. Should have started playing this earlier. But yeah. I really appreciate everyone hanging out. I hope you all have a great rest of your weekend. And I'm going to see you next time. Bye.